I think if we are to talk about the causes of the fall of the church, we might spend days and days. So what we are going to do is look at one major cause. I believe that has contributed more to the fall of the church than any other sin, and that is the love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money turns beautiful women into whores, and the church has become a whore because of its love for money. There's a story I was once told about a king who once decided to go on a journey. So he called his most trusted servant and said to him, "I am going away, but I'll be back shortly. And I want you to keep your eyes on the queen, because I'm leaving her behind, and care for her just as I have cared for you." And then the servant said, "Yes, master, I will do so." Now after the king had departed, the servant began to get closer to the queen, and he started to observe her beauty up close, and he began to compliment her, to flatter her. The queen had the most beautiful dress, and when the servant saw it, he said to her, "My queen, your dress is beautiful, but we can make it look even better." And the queen, being respectful, she said, "Anything you can do to make your queen look better." So the servant put a card through her dress from the ankles all the way to the knees, and people started to notice some of the covered beauties of the queen, and they complimented her. And the queen loved the compliments, the flattery, and one day she comes to the servant and says, "I think people love it. Is there more?" So the servant said, "I have all the best ideas to make the queen look her best." So he extended the cut from the knees all the way to the hip, and he put a cut somewhere around here so that some of the hidden beauties can show. People were so much amazed. The phone can't stop ringing. People can't have enough of her. Many guys are fighting over her. Some are offering her the best she have ever had. And before you know it, her fingernails are extended. Before you know it, her eyelashes and eyebrows are painted. And before you know it, her lips are colored, very sensual, attractive. And before you know it, her dress is adjusted so it can sit tight on the skin. And before you know it, her dress is off and she's in bed. Someone who was once a queen has now become a whore. Now imagine what the king will do to such a servant when he returns. That is what has become of church. Church has become more attractive to the world. The decoration is on point. The music is soothing. Just listening to the music, you might think that there's God in this place. But it's deadly. It has become more dangerous. The church is in bed with the world. The church is no longer fighting to get the worldliness out of the church. It's better to have your fellowship at home than to flock to a church every Sunday. And believe this, many Christians who receive the mark of the beast through their church, they have already received the devil, by the way. They have received their false prophets. And speaking of false prophets, there's someone who said this.
Basically, in America, we have Prosperity Gospel Junior, where I've been living for the last 2.5 years in sub-Saharan Africa. That's Prosperity Gospel Senior, and it is horrid.
I believe the point he was making was that the level of deception in African Christianity is much worse compared to any other place on earth. I get the point. I know. We have seen how far false prophets in Africa can push the boundaries. We have seen prophets that make people eat grass and those that make people drink petrol and eat snakes. And sometimes you question whether these people really have brains in their heads. That should let you know how far the church has fallen. Now, do I agree with the point that there is junior prosperity gospel elsewhere and there is senior in Africa? I don't think that's a godly perspective. I believe that the devil plays different tricks in different places. Today, the church is the most comfortable place for demons, for witchcraft, for murderers, fornicators, for gay people. That's all because we don't want to offend anyone. Am I saying that everyone in those fallen churches has fallen? I believe that God has few of his people in some of those fallen places. But believe me, those people are having tough time in there. John chapter 4 verse 23. Who are the true worshippers? The true worshippers are those who worship God in truth and in spirit, not those who worship him in church or on mountains, but those who worship in truth and in spirit. And that is the true church of Jesus Christ. That is the bride that Jesus is coming back for. And I want to end this with a dream. A dream that I had, I believe, 3 to 4 years ago. In a dream, I was walking on my way to church. And as I was approaching the region of the church, I started to notice water on the ground. Now this water has covered the whole place. I can't see where it ends. Now the closer I was getting to church, the deeper the water was becoming. And all of a sudden, I was flying above the waters. And I realized it was an eagle flying me above the waters. A huge eagle. So I arrived at the site of the church. I could tell that this is the place where the church is supposed to be. But I didn't see anything there but water. The whole place was covered in water. No building, no trees. And I felt this great amount of sorrow because there was no church there. And I asked the eagle, what happened? Where has the church moved to? The eagle said nothing. He just kept flying. And as we were flying above these waters, I could see we were headed to a place that looked like a graveyard. And I asked the eagle, where are you taking me? And the eagle said nothing. He just kept flying. The graveyard we were headed to looked scary. I could see tombstones and I could see smoke. We got to the cemetery and the eagle dropped me there. And I fell right at the hall, a very giant hall, the entrance to a cave. Now, at the entrance of the cave, I saw some of the animals which are considered unclean. I remember I saw a dog, a pig, and a tortoise. And I saw in this cave, there was like a tunnel that goes all the way down. And I had to follow that tunnel. So I kept walking. And as I was walking, I had somebody telling me to look up above the tunnel. And I did. And I saw a hole above the tunnel. And I heard a sound of something falling from the sky. And then I saw it was a bird, a big white bird. And what I noticed about this bird was that it had stains all over its body, like stains of mud or clay. It looked dirty. And as soon as it hit the ground, it was taken apart in pieces by tiny, evil-looking beds, very scary. Each bed took a piece out of that bed. Within 2 seconds, the large bed was gone. And I was terrified and screaming, no! How could such thing happen to such a beautiful bed? And I heard an answer from the eagle saying, the very same thing will happen to any bird that does not fly according to its design. That was the end of the dream. I woke up trying to find the meaning. I even remember telling this to a church, but nobody came to me and gave me its interpretation. Until in recent years, I came to understand from the water that had covered the whole church area, to the graveyard, the place of the dead, to the cave where I saw unclean creatures, and the bird that had fallen, beautiful white bird with stains all over it. I understood that flood is a symbol of trials, and whiteness of the bird is a symbol of holiness, but stains on the whiteness is a symbol of sin on the church. The beautiful bird has fallen, the church has fallen, and it's taken apart in pieces by demons. May the love and justice of God prevail.